Okay, hi everyone. So this is the next lesson, and this one is going to focus on the midterm test. The midterm test, which is scheduled for next week, in week 8. This is week 7 according to the schedule. So let's go for it. Okay, Tsinghua University English 2 midterm test. So originally the test was going to be a presentation, but we can't really do presentations because a presentation really requires an audience. It's all about learning how to speak in public speaking, speaking to an audience, and using appropriate body language. But I think it's not really an appropriate thing for us to do in this online class format. So as it says here, we will replace presentations with audio recordings and your script. Okay. So you must prepare an answer to this question. If you emigrated to another country, where would you go and why? So that is a question that is taken from Unit 10. It's a second conditional question. If and unlikely future situation. But let's use it as our question for this test. If you emigrated to another country, where would you go and why? Okay, so you need to start thinking about a country that you would live in if you left Korea. Remember, emigrate means to leave your home country to live in another country. Just like I have done. I left my home country, which was England, and I have moved to Korea. Okay, what you must include: an introduction, 3 body paragraphs, and a conclusion. So this will become a 5-paragraph script, 5 parts. So actually this is going to be a little pre-example of the writing part of this course, which we will do after the midterm test. An introduction, 3 bodies, and a conclusion. That will give you 5 paragraphs, 5 parts. Now you must use the grammar from units 10 and 11 and 12. You only have to use it at least once. So the main part of this presentation is basically free as far as the grammar goes, but you have to give at least one example of each of the grammars that we have studied. You also need to do some research and use real examples and evidence to support your decision. And then you have to write the script and then record your voice reading, but make sure that you add intonation. This is very important. I don't really want you to just be reading your script in a kind of robotic way. Imagine that you are speaking to someone and try to add some tone to your voice. And you have to send your script and audio file to me during week 8. That's next week. So please send it to me between April 20 and April 26. Okay, that is the deadline. That is the submission time for this test. April 20 to April 26. Right, the introduction. I'm now going to show you what you need to include in each part. So the introduction, it usually has 3 parts, the introduction. You start with a hook. So you get the reader or the listener interested in your topic so that they will want to keep reading or keep listening. Some examples of hooks are interesting questions, a surprising fact or statistic, a request to the reader to imagine a situation, a definition, something someone else said, and there are other examples. But these are some common hooks, so maybe you could try to use one of those to start your presentation. And I will show you an example in a moment. We need to have some background information in the introduction. So in this example, this test, your background information will be about the country that you choose. And you can just give us some general information such as location, population, capital city, climate, famous attractions, history, people, etc. You do not need to put all of those in the introduction, just maybe 3 or 4 pieces of background information. And you also need a thesis statement. Now in this test, I will give you the thesis statement. That is it, the question. If I emigrated to another country, I would choose, and then you put the country name there. Okay, so that is your introduction, and now I'm going to show you an example. Right, so imagine this is my midterm test, and this is my script, and this would be me with my audio reading my introduction. Do you know who sang these lyrics? From the day of the universe's creation and beyond, through the infinite centuries and beyond, in the previous life and maybe the next 2, we are forever together. That's from a song by one of the most popular music acts on the planet right now, BTS. BTS are from South Korea. Korea is an Asian country located to the east of China and the west of Japan. It's a peninsula because it's surrounded by the ocean on 3 sides of its borders and just connects to one other country, North Korea. The population is slightly more than 50 million people. The capital city is Seoul, and the currency used there is called won. Aside from BTS, the country is also famous for the unique food called kimchi, Samsung smartphones, Tottenham's Son Heung-min, and the YouTube phenomenon Gangnam Style. So, if I emigrated to another country, I would choose South Korea. Okay, so let's just quickly review that introduction. You can see there that the first part is the hook, the second part is the background information, and the third part, which is underlined, is the thesis statement, but that is also an example of the grammar from Unit 10. So if you want, you don't actually need to use any more grammar from Unit 10, because that is the one example. Okay, so one more time. Your introduction needs a hook, background information, and the thesis statement that I have given you. Okay, let's move on to the next part, which is the body. So, as I told you already, the body is 3 parts, 3 paragraphs. Support your decision with 3 reasons. You can use facts, evidence, personal stories, statistics, etc. to help make your point. You should also use the grammar from Units 11 and Units 12 at least once. Okay, so, example. The first reason. So you need to use some of that kind of language, linking language. The first reason, you could use firstly, but anyway, the first reason why I would choose South Korea is the low crime rate compared to my home country. Look at this table that shows crime rate per 100,000 people. Right, now, obviously when you are reading, I cannot see any tables or charts or photographs, but you're going to send me the script. So when I am listening to your audio, I will also read your script. So you can include evidence such as tables, charts, photos, if you want to. Okay, so in my example here, I have a table. Look at this table that shows crime rate per 100,000 people. Okay, as you can see, South Korea consistently rates lower than the UK. In my personal experience, it feels much safer walking around late at night in Seoul than it did for me in England. People are not as violent in Korea, and this makes the quality of life better because we don't have to fear for our safety. So, if I lived in Korea, I might feel safer and could enjoy being outside both in the day and the night time without too much stress. My British friend was robbed in London when he was a student, and the robbers also threatened him with a knife. He said living in Korea was much better because he doesn't feel that same fear here. Okay, so that is an example of a body paragraph, and I have also included an example of Unit 11 and Unit 12. Unit 11 was using modal verbs, and in this one, I might feel safer. Okay, that is a modal verb sentence. And then there is the Unit 12, which is the passive sentence. My British friend was robbed. Remember, that's the sentence that focuses on the action. Okay, so hopefully this example of a body paragraph can help you. You have to use some evidence and some examples to help make your point more stronger. And in my example here, I have a table that has some statistics from the internet that I researched, and then there is also personal experience. So I have included 2 different types of supporting details. Okay, so you need to have 3 body paragraphs. You need to have 3 different supporting reasons. Now I'm not going to show you any more examples. Next, we're going to look at the conclusion. So summarize your body, restate your thesis statement, and give us a final closing comment. This is your final message to the reader or listener. It can be your opinion, a prediction about the future, a recommendation, a call to action, or a combination of these. Okay, example. To conclude, if I emigrated to another country, I would choose South Korea. The reasons I mentioned were lower crime rate, job opportunities as a language teacher, and food. Right, now those would have been my other 2 body paragraphs. I didn't actually write them for you, but those would have been the 2 other body paragraphs. Obviously, I love my home nation, England, and I have many great memories and experiences growing up there. However, I think life is all about trying new things, and personally, I love the idea of seeing as much of the world as possible. Living in a new country doesn't have to be forever, but it would give me the opportunity to understand a new culture and also adapt to live within that culture. So don't hesitate anymore. If you're thinking of emigrating to a new country, make your choice and go for it. Okay, so again, you have a summary of your body, you restate your thesis statement, and you have a final closing comment. That is your conclusion. Okay, so to summarize, your midterm is 2 parts. You have to write and send a full script. The script should have 5 paragraphs: introduction, body 1, 2, 3, and conclusion. And then the second part is your audio file of you speaking your script as a speech. Okay, so please submit both of those parts together and they will both be considered your midterm test. You must include at least one example of Units 10, 11, 12 grammar. The thesis statement is an example of Unit 10. You must send both your script and audio file to me during week 8, April 20 to 26. Your midterm test is 20% of your grade, so your score will be out of 20 points. You will be scored on accurate grammar, clear and effective structure, appropriate vocabulary, detailed and well-developed reasons, clarity of voice in the audio, and intonation in the audio. Not just reading like a robot. We want to hear a little bit of life in your voice. Okay, so think about some of the keywords and give it a little bit more intonation. Okay, good luck everybody. Obviously, if you have any questions, feel free to send me an email. And next week, there won't be any video postings by me because it is just you guys sending me your work. Okay, now we have to do some review quizzes. So when we start after the midterm tests, I will give you some information about how we will do the first review quiz. But for now, just concentrate on this midterm test. Okay, see you later.